your fault but mine. And you were short on the line. I really fucked it up this time. Didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my dear?
Hello there, everybody. How the fuck are we? I'm all right. Thank you for asking. Joining me, her name is Winters, and she certainly gives me chills. They're multiplying, and I'm losing control because the power she's supplying, it's electrifying.
You better shape up.
Well, starting off with a Grease reference, that's the level we're working at tonight, people. Up your fucking game. Anyway, Dr. Kristi Winters, how are you?
Yeah, so I'm doing well. I can't quite top that, so I'm just gonna. My heart is set on you. That's a high note for this time of night.
That is. Also, have you noticed how most of the teenagers in that movie are about 30?
Yes, this is something I realized was a trope much later on, that they'd have all these films in high school with people like in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah, like some of these were like, they could have played teachers, frankly.
Yeah, anyway. Some of them definitely. But when I was a kid, like people just look old to you. Like I think I saw, I remember watching Grease. I don't know if I saw it in the theaters first. Yeah, because I remember, I must have seen it because I was actually excited, or maybe I had heard the soundtrack. I think that was it. I don't think I got to see it in the theaters. But
have you finished Grease a sentence 2. At all so far?
Grease 2 is such a disappointment, but I can't even remember where I was going with this Grease reference. That's going to be the hit of that's a high point already of the show. We've already peaked.
Indeed.
It's only downhill from here, everybody.
Well, I presume your day's already peaked because you were watching Der Klassiker. God, the German language is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Oh, outrageous.
You mean Poirot?
No, the classic. Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern München. Beautiful language.
It missed me. How was it?
It was very good. Yeah. Munich won 1-0, which is a bit annoying, but absolutely delicious chip from Joshua Kimmich. Lovely stuff. But I just wanted to say Der Klassiker because it's fucking hideous.
Is that how it flashes up on the screen when you're watching it?
Well, I just read it. It was called Der Klassiker, and I thought like in Spanish, it's El Clásico. Oh, right. Lovely stuff. In German, it's
Well, how is
the football.
But that's only because that's how you said. If you shouted it in Spanish, you could also make it sound quite aggressive, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the Spanish language doesn't sound very aggressive unless it's being shouted, whereas the German language sounds awful in any tone, really. Like.
It's a pretty good tone for like getting shit done. Yeah. It's a
yes, that's true. To a fault, it could be argued historically. Just
So besides linguistic history. Or linguistic comparisons, I should say.
Right.
You want to kick the show off? We're gonna kick it old school. We're gonna start with Kev here.
Are we? I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing?
Oh, are you not set up, or should I go first?
No, I need to screen share. Well, you can go first if you want to. I don't really care. I'm going to open it up for both of us. I can go first if you want.
Yeah. I've already pulled. Well, it's not your big balls. It's not your cock and balls anymore. It's just your hangout. So.
It is. I've let my cock and balls hang out. Absolutely.
You have. All right. So what do we got for the peoples? We've got a kind of an interesting title, clickbaity title you've given us today, Kev.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is clickbaity, but we are going to be covering all three topics.
Okay.
So we've got all sorts of nonsense. I'm just going to take you through the bits of shit I bookmarked before we get to the main bits. Because I don't know, there were 2 meltdowns today on Twitter, and I enjoyed them both enormously. We'll get to them.
All right.
Anyway, but this is Bill Mitchell. I thought this sums up the Trump supporter so well. It says, some have called me sycophant for unrelenting support of the president. I am not. I believe Trump was sent by God to lead America through this most perilous moment in our history.
That's a sycophant.
Yeah, that's literally what a sycophant is, you twat.
I believe this guy's right no matter what. Well, I mean, technically a sycophant is someone who agrees with, whereas he's maybe trying to do a little thing about belief. But the fact is that he's defending him in order to be noticed in a sort of, notice me senpai kind of way. And that is sycophant.
Well, yeah, but if you say he was sent by God,
that is pretty sycophant. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, you're right. It's a self-defeating.
Come on.
I would agree. Yeah. Yes. Actually, and I just want to point out that sycophantic is a really fun word to say.
It is.
Mm.
Like anti-disestablishmentarianism is another fine word.
Yes.
Anyway, oh God. This is sort of related to the thing we'll get onto in a bit. It's a kind of theme of the grifty dirtbag left being awful. Anyway, yes, Shoe on Head, a person we've mentioned on the show before, says this is in response to someone had made a point about we talked briefly in the last episode about the Vosges versus Mexi debate shitstorm thing, where the so-called soft lefties or the woke scolds or whatever were called out by the dirtbags and so on and so forth. And it's been a lot of fun, very productive conversation. And Shu chimes in with her usual deft touch and says, "Okay, we do need a term for those people because they do exist. SJW has been co-opted to mean literally anything. I presume she means anything.
Yeah.
That's fine. Anyway,
well,
I never make typos, so I can criticize. It's fine. Yeah, it has been co-opted to mean literally anything. I told you that 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I literally told you that 5 years ago. But anyway, glad you've seen the light. But if we're going to call edgy leftists dirtbags, we can certainly call Puritan leftists woke scolds. That's only fair. I've seen soft lefties as a term too. Lol.
I love how June is so left. She wants to go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, she's so on the far left now that people are too soft left for her. She's so edgy, guys.
Yeah,
God.
She's not in here driving a wedge between people on the left, like actively saying we should call other people on the left woke scolds. No, she's not totally here to disrupt things and make it less, cohesive.
Yeah. And I'm glad that she's doing purity tests on people she sees as Puritan leftists. Yeah. Interesting. And as a Johnny come lately to the movement, thank you for gatekeeping, Shu. I think you're definitely well placed for that job.
The woman who compares feminism to a religion.
And black people to gorillas.
Yeah. And apparently she apologized. I've been alleged again that she's made a video where...
Well, people keep saying that. Do link me to it. That would be nice.
Someone did send me a link, but I haven't watched it yet because I got it like 2 hours ago. And I wasn't going to watch it. I had to prep for the show.
Okay.
Well, we can check it out.
Yeah. Watch this space, I suppose. Maybe it's a full-throated apology now. Of course it fucking isn't. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, and Kristi replies in her usual, good way. Mm-hmm. Measured, calm, collected, unlike me. Anyway, this one does contain an N-word, but it's from a person of colour, and it's a soft A. I won't repeat it word for word, but this just made me laugh. It says, March 15, we started dating, and on March 20, our daughter will be here. And the person says, N, it's only been 5 days. Which is very nice. Thank you. That made me laugh.
Oh, that's funny.
This just made me laugh again. Not really opposite to anything other than to know that Paul Joseph Watson was born 2 days, or birthday is 2 days after mine. So whatever. He says, yes, the rumours are true. It's my birthday. And re-education, fine leftist content creator. Don't agree with him on everything, but he's a good lad. Says, have a shitty fucking birthday, you rat-faced little worm. Your whole life is a deep state conspiracy.
True.
Fair enough. I can't agree with this sentiment more. I feel like I'm seen with this. Don't tell me you've never wondered what Yoda's penis looks like.
Yeah, I have to say that actually never crossed my mind, but I'm not going to judge.
2 words.
Yeah.
Green turnip.
Turnip.
Turnip. Yes, you heard me correctly, Kristi. Turnip.
Not a cucumber.
It's not. No, a cucumber. Ridiculous.
A little mini one. mini cucumber, like the snack cucumbers.
Mini cucumber. That would be a pickle.
Well, no, a pickle is when you put it in vinegar and water and dill and stuff and let it soak.
Yeah, when it becomes all small and wrinkly, like Yoda. Anyway.
Okay, so a pickle.
Yeah.
But without all the bumps, hopefully. Otherwise, he might need to see someone.
I don't know, ridged for her pleasure, you know? Or his pleasure, whatever. You know, I don't
Great.
know what Yoda's into.
You know, I actually really like cocktail pickles, and now I'm not going to be able to eat them for a while. Or I'll just eat them and think about this conversation and feel slightly weird, but enjoy my pickle.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know where to go with that sentence.
Okay, you can just go to the next tweet then.
I will do. This is much more serious. Good point. This shutdown saga is exposing who's never been told no in their life.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah, a whole bunch of white people feel slightly inconvenienced, so they get their guns.
Indeed. This is Coughlin, but this is not the meltdown he had this morning. This was bookmarked a few days ago, as you can tell. This is from the 17th. And I just thought, can he disappear any further into his own rectum?
All right, should I read Adam's tweet?
Please do.
All right. I don't disagree, but, quote, cultivated identity, unquote, needs some contextual prefix to differentiate just who/what is doing the cultivating. It only encompasses the concept of, quote, consumer identity, unquote, if it's not not self doing the cultivating, correct? I could just be way off base grokking this.
Don't know what grokking is, but okay. And then Peter replies in the most far-toughy way imaginable. It's consumer identity as a form of power exerted on neoliberal subjects. My assumption is making/using the term is that a part of criticism of neoliberal ideology and the capitalist power structure it justifies and perpetuates. Do you want to go any more word salad?
There is a way to say that in a way that's comprehensible.
Yeah, but he doesn't because,
Well, there's a way. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I know my my PhD supervisor actually criticized is that it does appear sometimes that people almost deliberately write in an obfuscatory manner in order to avoid criticism. And the other part of it is to make things so complicated that they alienate people from actually understanding their point. Yeah. So there's two sides of that, and he sort of joked he doesn't mind people theorizing in public, but he doesn't think it should be done on the taxpayer's expense. And here he wasn't talking about like sort of testable theories. It was more sort of, I think, directed at untestable speculation. Yeah.
Also, Peter just wants to be thought of as really, really clever.
Clearly.
So use long words. Use the word neoliberal at least twice per sentence.
Well, I mean, I have several of my colleagues, classmates, I don't know what you call it when you do a PhD, people who are also doing PhDs.
Buddies.
No, not in this case, who were quite Marxian. And I know that they almost speak a kind of language within their discipline to make each other understood. But the thing is, they have all the background and all the theory and the framework and also like the arguments against it or critiques. Whereas when you just put this shit out on Twitter.
Yeah, that's different. Academia, you expect people to use incredibly precise, complex
and
language.
To define their terms.
That's fine. This is 240 characters of shit from a wanker. Like, who cares? Like, this is not a critique of Marx's economic theory or something. This is just a self-aggrandizing prick on the internet.
Yeah, who likes the word neoliberal and identity.
Yeah. Like I said, 2 uses of neoliberal in one sentence. Well done. Good stuff. Anyway, 44% of Republicans think Bill Gates is working on a coronavirus vaccine so he can plant a microchip in them. 44%. As he says, these folks are gone and never coming back to reality.
Yeah. You can't win. I mean, I don't understand why people put effort politically, like in a campaign, not in terms of like people that you care about in your life who have bad ideas and you're trying to pull them out of it. But just in terms of like electoral stuff, why even bother with the Trump people? Go for the swing voters, go for the undecided voters, go for people who haven't, or hate you both, but hate you a little bit less. All of those people are more likely to vote for you than the 44% who think Bill Gates is working on a microchip vehicle, Trojan horse.
Yes.
You could say Trojan horse to them, they probably wouldn't understand the reference.
No. But if they did understand it, they'd still think, "Oh, well, I can't trust that. It's foreign."
Perhaps.
Anyway, on to British politics a little bit. We're going to get to Cumgate, as I think.
It's around the corner.
it's not nearly as sexy as you might think,
It's
unfortunately.
just past
Although
fingering her away.
it is. Although Piers Morgan does make a kind of appearance, so there is sexiness in there.
Oh, all right.
Saying,
Your
okay?
cunning, your chinninlingus.
My
buddy.
chimney Yeah, what happens between me and Piers is an abomination which is against God, for which we will both be rightly, eternally burned in the pits of hell. Doesn't stop us though, you know.
Feels too good. Feels good.
Well, exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those explosions that you just think it just rips you apart? It's amazing. Fuck it, yeah. Get a red hot poker up the arse for eternity. I don't care. Anyway.
Worth it. I regret nothing.
Yeah.
Guess Kevin falls into the pits of hell.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm going to go to hell, but I'm not going to get punished. I'm going to take over.
There you go. You're gonna lead a
Start
rebellion.
franchising that shit. You know.
Not against
Those-
hell, actually, because that's actually not where the power is. You'd have to actually lead another rebellion against heaven, because that's who's holding the power structure in place.
You're starting to sound like Coffin now. If you start calling Jesus of Nazareth neoliberal, we're gonna have to have fucking words, okay?
Oh, fair.
Anyway, Marie-Anne tweets, those of you complaining Boris Johnson isn't a very good prime minister, could you do any better in 5 minutes a day? It's a fucking good point.
Yeah. I see. Do you see Trump was right out on the golf links over the weekend?
Of course he was, yeah. It's not as if there were tens of thousands of, oh no, there are loads and loads of Americans dying.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's teeing off on their caskets.
It's just like Nero and I don't know if he actually fiddled while Rome burned.
He definitely did not.
Well, thank you. Check.
Don't even
history
get me
check.
started. Yeah. He was in a place called Antium, now known as Anzio, which was a seaside resort for the rich and famous. And it took 2 days for him to ride back to Rome, by which point the fire was almost out anyway. And he didn't play the fiddle. So,
well,
yeah.
Makes it kind of difficult. But in terms of the comparative, you say like the allegory or the trope or whatever, the myth, Trump was actually doing
also, well, yeah, indeed. And do you know why he got that reputation, Nero?
He was a really lousy leader.
No, actually, he wasn't a lousy leader particularly. He was quite effective. To a fault, from one group's perspective.
Christians.
It sums up the old winners write the history. Correct. Because the Christians took over, and guess who he blamed for the fire and executed dozens of
Christians.
Yeah. So
kill his
when it
mom,
came around
though.
to rewriting the history,
Didn't make him a bad emperor, but he did kill his mom, or have his mom killed.
Indeed, and one of his wives. Yeah, he was the fucking monster. Yes, that is true. But he didn't fiddle while Rome burned. So
right.
He was no worse than any other horrific piece of shit who ruled Rome. Anyway, doesn't matter. Trump's an arsehole too. Right. Although at least those people were learned. Like they were classically versed and stuff. Trump's just a fucking moron anyway. Talking of morons. But this is amazing. Paul Joseph Watson, even when he tries to say something which sounds vaguely woke, it's still enormously racist. It says, if there's anyone I love more than Brits, it has to be Jews every time. And it's a close call. So basically saying Jewish people can't be Brits?
Well, I just was like, I was kind of confused about this. Like, is he talking about just as a people globally? Is he talking
all
about
the Jews? Even the leftist Jews that run everything. They're part of the globalist conspiracy.
I don't even know how to interpret this.
The one takeaway, like I say, that I got from it is that he's delineating between Brits and Jews. So any British Jewish people, you're just Jews, to Paul Joseph Watson. But he super likes you guys, honest. Yeah.
All right, we'll just move on.
Yeah. Now we come to Cumgate.
All right, here we go.
Amazing. This is what people decided to call it. Now, it's not to do with ejaculate, which is a shame. I think we can all agree. But the man's name is Dominic Cummings, which just get the giggling out of the way. Okay? I'll give you a few seconds. We'll move on like adults. Penis. Now, Dominic Cummings is a special advisor to the Prime Minister of Great Britain. In actuality, he is the Prime Minister of Great Britain. That's what we've learned.
Power behind the throne.
Yeah. He's, you know, the old adage about the monkey and the organ grinder?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, the organ grinder winds the organ, which makes the music, and then in the old parts of North Africa, usually, the monkey would dance to the music.
Okay.
But the show was the monkey. People would look at the monkey, but the actual power behind it is the organ grinder.
'Cause
So it
he's
became
good,
like
right.
an analogy of people. It's there for show, and people get fixated on the monkey, but it's actually the organ grinder that's running the thing. Boris Johnson is the monkey.
He's the whiff waff.
He is the whiff waff, and he's pathetic, spineless gimpery. Yeah, this piece of shit is, like I say, arguably the most powerful man in the country, which is fucking terrifying. He was behind the Vote Leave campaign during the referendum. So he's a criminal who lied to the British public and has taken us down in the most dangerous foreign policy direction since the Second World War. Thanks.
Only.
Pardon?
Only. I mean,
only. What do you mean?
I'm sure he would try to do other really terrible things once you guys left the EU, but
probably, yeah, but so far, let's say, anyway. Yes, and has thus been responsible for arguably the worst response outside of America and possibly Brazil. Brazil's catching up, definitely, to the coronavirus COVID-19 thing, which has led to officially 44,000 British people, but the number is undoubtedly much higher than that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about America in a few minutes.
We are, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason that this became a story was that this fucking little piece of shit, even though he knew his wife had it, and he very possibly had it, and eventually it was found he did, instead of living by the lockdown rules that everyone else was being forced to, literally people were being arrested, fined. There was a black guy in Newcastle who got tased because he was taking a non-essential trip. This motherfucker decided to drive to Durham from his house in London, which is a 250-mile trip, which just so happened to coincide with his mother's birthday. Whilst there, he then took another trip to a local beauty spot, a castle thing about 30 miles away, which just so happened to coincide with his wife's birthday. Now, the reason he gave for this, which is why the thumbnail for this is should have gone to Specsavers, is the excuse he used. This is genuine. The excuse he used for driving from Durham to this other place was because he wanted to test whether he could still see properly. That makes it better. That's a lie. That's clearly, obviously a lie that a 7-year-old would tell. Embarrassing. Secondly, even if it weren't a lie, that would make it worse. Why are you operating heavy machinery if you're not sure you can fucking see? And what makes it even worse was just even the most elementary checkable lies. He said that the reason he was scared that he wouldn't be able to make the drive back to London. And someone asked, well, does your wife drive? They said no, even though his wife is a journalist and has written many articles in the past explaining how she does in fact drive.
Well, I also know that they're trying to say that it was about childcare, that he was worried about childcare. And
because the British government don't have any resources that they could, use to take care of his children. He had to drive 260 fucking miles.
Yeah, well, the thing is, of course, his girlfriend, or sorry, his wife, or partner, or whatever she is, she was positive for COVID at the time, right?
She was indeed, yes, very sick.
She should be staying home. I mean, even if he was going to go, why did he have to take her when she was sick with him, and then put the kid in the car for that entire time and have that air, just everyone breathing the same air?
Again, and people asked a very simple question. Well, did you stop en route at all to fill up a gas tank, a petrol tank, to alleviate bladders and bowels and things? It's a long journey, He said no. So we're expected to think that he'd made a 4-hour trip there and a 4-hour trip back with a 4-year-old child on one tank of petrol without stopping at all.
And also the excuse that he was worried about childcare because if his wife partner was sick and couldn't take care of the child, he needed his parents to do it. I'm like, how about this? How about you take sick time and you stay at home and you be a fucking dad?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Or telepathy from home. I mean, you don't have to physically be there. So, just nothing about this sounds convincing.
It's a total lie. It's hypocrisy on a massive rank scale. And the reason that he's still in the job is because he is Prime Minister. Who would he tender his resignation to? Boris Johnson? Why would you go to your underling?
Yeah.
Why would you go to your subordinate to do that? It's a joke. And they've circled the wagons. They literally, all of the government ministers had pre-prepared tweets, and they all sent them out basically saying it was the responsible thing to do as a parent. So basically saying, if you didn't break the rules as a parent, you are a shit parent.
Now, didn't like the top health advisor in Scotland travel from her home to her other home, and she had to quit over that. She had to resign.
Yeah.
And he went and visited other people.
The very same people who
with a
were
sick person.
Defending this motherfucker, because it's all about Brexit. The Brexiteers want this motherfucker to stay because that's all he's there for, is to do Brexit. That's the only thing he's interested. He's not actually really even a Tory as such. He's not a member of the Conservative Party. Yeah. The same people who are defending this motherfucker hounded out another guy who was critical of Boris Johnson, who had been like a medical advisor on this topic, because he'd gone to see his girlfriend have sex, which, does break the lockdown restrictions. But that was like 5 miles down the road, and neither of them were actually sick at the time. And he did resign. So, I mean, we'll wait and see if he holds on. There was a junior government minister who resigned over this today. And I think we're up to 40-odd Conservative members of Parliament have called for him to resign. So, and the reason I did this, the
people
Spectator,
in the Church of England called for him.
Literally, the Spectator, the magazine that Boris Johnson used to be the editor of, is calling for Dominic Cummings to be sacked. Yep,
and the fact that it's being resisted is actually drawing attention and making other people who probably wouldn't have had an opinion otherwise take a side. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like it's swingy. What did I see? Both people who supported and opposed Brexit both agree by majority that Cummings should go.
Yeah.
It's like one of the few things people agree
Boris
on.
Johnson's ruining his own prime ministership with this. Yep. He's taking himself down with this nonsense.
With his court favourite.
Yeah, I don't know what he has over Johnson, the organ grinder has over the monkey on this one. I don't know what pictures of... What was Boris Johnson fucking in the pictures/video that this man has of Boris Johnson? How bad is it? Was it alive?
I think Boris Johnson is terrified of actually having to make decisions in government.
Well, he is absolutely correct. I mean, that's the serious point. That's why I did the thing about him doing it 5 minutes a day. Yeah. Obviously, he spends up to 7 minutes a day actually doing it. He's very Trumpian in so many respects. He's nowhere near as extreme because he can't, because there isn't the religious right to push him in that direction or to allow him to go in that direction. And generally the lack of religiosity means that the social side of things isn't quite there. But the same basic pandering to racism and not really wanting to do the job, but wanting the prestige of the title is very, very Trumpian. There are so many parallels. But anyway, we should move on because we'll be here all fucking day. This was again, there's going to be some stuff upcoming about various topics, just a general content warning.
Okay.
If you're of a disposition to do with, firstly to do with death and bereavement. Okay. Later on, there's some stuff about sexual assault.
Okay. Content warning.
Harassment. I suppose a little bit of body shaming from Ann Coulter, of all things. Anyway, right, so with that out of the way, this person says, quote, "What was the point of the sacrifice? What was the point of my father's lonely death?" Unquote. Heartbreaking interview with Helen Goodman, BA, who couldn't visit her dying father in a care home yards from where Cummings' family went for a walk at Barnard Castle on the World this weekend.
Yep, those are the kinds of stories. Even the Daily Mail was dragging him, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Daily Mail went off on him, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of people have. A lot of people who you really wouldn't expect to. Because it's the hypocrisy. And not just up, but the arrogance. Look, if you get caught fucking up, either the cover-up or the denial is always worse than the initial thing. If you just come out and said, yeah, I fucked up, sorry, I was a scared parent, I overreacted, people go, all right, and whatever. Like, it's not cool, but you'd be able to ride out the storm.
Look, you take the hit.
Reacting the way he did.
Yeah, you take the hit, you step down, you wait 6-9 months till people forget, then you get called in for an emergency, and then you just keep hanging around again. But this is, like we said, it was drawing attention to it.
Well, he did, he did a press conference.
It's I remember what I was going to say, which is the entire stereotype of Tories is like that they kind of float above society, that the rules don't affect them, that, you know, they're rich and they're protected and they get away with stuff that other people wouldn't, and they make, you know, and he's just feeding into that stereotype of two sets of rules, one for the commoners and one for the...
But it's arguably even worse, because he's pushed the populist bullshit of, the politicians in Westminster don't give a fuck. They don't live the same lives as you. They think they're above all of you, blah, blah, blah. And here he is doing exactly that. Which just goes to show you the hollowness of right-wing populism. Just saying.
Yeah.
And he did a press conference. This is how you know he's Prime Minister. He did a press conference in the Rose Garden at number 10 Downing Street. He's just a special advisor. He's not an elected official at all. Why is he giving any press conferences?
The last time
he's actually Prime Minister.
The last time I heard reference to the Rose Garden was when David Cameron and Nick Clegg met to start the coalition.
Indeed, yeah, they did their weird, chummy, slightly homoerotic Rose Garden joint press conference, and we're like, we're going to be fun times together in the coalition. It'll be such good fun. Nom, 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 nom. God, it was pathetic. Anyway, so yeah, it's not often used, actually. It's an underutilized space, I find.
Well, maybe it's a weather issue. You know, there's only so many days you can
basically
really use
Britain, it's fucking raining.
Yeah, London's actually not so bad. The East isn't so bad. But anyway.
All right. Anyway, this was interesting. The LGB Alliance, you'll notice the T is missing there because they're transphobic, turfy garbage. This is amazing. The claim they make here about LGBT history is astounding. Listen to this. This is a really important point. In our historical gay and lesbian rights movement, we never demanded the society change its laws, its activities, and its language to accommodate us.
What?
We never cursed people who disagreed with us or tried to get them fired. We always built bridges.
What? I'm sorry, what LGBTQIA rights movement are you thinking about? Because that just sounds like fantasy fiction.
Kristi, we all know the Stonewall conversation. It sometimes gets called a riot. It was a conversation. They were building bridges with the local police.
People who
are throwing bricks at them so that they could pile them up to make a bridge, presumably.
This is just like totally revisionist.
It's not even just revisionist. It's just a lie.
Yeah,
it's not even a bending or a massaging of the truth. It's a total lie. These people are fucking shameless garbage.
Yeah, it just makes me think that they're really Republicans who are LARPing in a sort of, again, destroy the left or split the left kind of way.
Yeah. Again, back to Cumgate, and again, people decided to call it that because they had the opportunity to call it Cumgate. Why would you not?
Yeah, from the nation that brought you Bodie McBoatface.
Exactly. When we have the opportunity to call the thing Cumgate, we're not going to take that opportunity. Okay. This was said now. Boris Johnson was giving his thing, saying that the daily press conference, and you can tell how half-arsed his prime ministership is when it was news that he was going to go out and give the daily press conference in the government's response to the COVID outbreak. That was news that he was going to do his job.
Must be nice.
So he did one. He's done one in the last month. Now, admittedly, partly he was sick, to be fair. And you'll notice, again, another thing backing up the idea that Boris Johnson isn't actually the Prime Minister. When he was half dead in his hospital bed, the British government didn't change.
No.
There was no noticeable difference. It's like his presence there isn't necessary or effective in any way.
Well, I'm sure Sir Humphrey would agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, politics would work a lot better without politicians. You know? In the same way that the old thing about schools would work a lot better with children didn't exist. And hospitals would be very, very effective without sick people.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Anyway, a quote-unquote disgruntled, now former employee of the UK Civil Service tweeted this out from the official account. Arrogant and offensive. Can you imagine having to work with these truth twisters?
This was after his press conference.
During. He was literally at the podium giving us, an update on things to the nation. And, like I say, a now ex-employee.
Yeah.
who a fantastic bar owner in London says can eat and drink at their bar forever for free. So I like that. That's a nice little bonus. Tweeted that out. It's good. Yeah.
Nice.
As Mike says, someone briefly grew some balls. Yeah. Correct. It's going to be a bit scattergun because Twitter does not allow you to collate your things in any kind of order, so you're going to skip from bits to bobs based on the exact chronology of when you bookmark stuff when you see it.
Yep.
Anyway,
you can't sort it or filter it or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is.
Ideally, you'd want to do all of your Cumgate tweets together
by hashtag. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something. Yeah. Anyway,
cluster your Cumgates.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You want to spurt it all in one go, don't you?
Yeah, you just want a big spurt of Cumgate. That's
indeed. You don't want it in dribs and drabs. That's embarrassing. You want it all over the back, maybe a little bit on the tits. Anyway,
there's a lot if it's going in the back. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Don't even start. Don't make me demonstrate live on air.
So that reminds me of the little GIF that Hank put up in our group chat underneath your announcement about this show title.
Yes.
Which was just something gushing.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the right-wing fucking entryist grifter garbage trying to make themselves look left-wing now. Chris Reagan says trans rights, while his old Gamergate era shit is still online and making money, it's interesting and also makes me want to throw up. Becca Lewis says, a lot of old Gamergate people, Chris, Schuenhead, etc., seem to be trying to pivot to the left without ever addressing or reckoning with their past content.
Mm-hmm.
Hard not to see it as a bid for continued relevance rather than a genuine change of heart.
Becca, you just summed it up precisely. Yeah. That's it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Absolutely. Yes, the slightly Orwellian memory holding of former government policy. These posts are now being removed from the government's own websites. Says here.
They're actually. Oh my god.
Yeah, don't break the rules. If you do, it won't just impact you. Stay home, save lives. If one person breaks the rules, we will all suffer. I wonder why they're now getting rid of those.
Why are they purging their feed?
Interesting. A devastating report from the Times today, knocked off the front page today by Cummings, details how the Prime Minister was warned on the 3rd of March that failing to lock down would result in 250,000 deaths, but delayed doing it for 20 days. In this period, infections grew from 14,000 to 1.5 million.
I remember watching, or as I was actually listening to, MSNBC when they were interviewing somebody who worked in public health. Maybe it was Fauci. I can't remember who it was, but the person said, at the start of a pandemic, if you sound like you're exaggerating and you're taking things just completely too far, you're probably about right, actually. And then when you look back, you're always going to say, we didn't do enough. And that really stuck with me, that it's better to kind of take your medicine up front than to realize in retrospect that there was so much more you could have done if you would have believed what the forecasters were telling you.
Well, those countries, if you compare countries of vaguely similar population size, density, wealth, healthcare infrastructure, all that sort of stuff, those nations which lock down harsh and early have way better results across the board, almost without exception. And those that didn't are still suffering. I mean, the sight of beaches full of people.
Oh, on Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, it's like it just never happened. It's like it's not still going on.
Yeah, they're having second spikes already, and they're opening up.
Yeah.
God knows that we might as well mention America passed 100,000 deaths.
Yeah, we were going to get to it, but
condolences to all of those people and their families. It's awful.
Yeah.
But how big is that number going to get?
Because of the way that it's been handled in terms of public health policy. Yeah, I think, one of the things that people try to say is, oh, well, there's a larger population, so you're going to get more deaths in a bigger population. And actually, when you look at it on like per million, that doesn't predict. Being a smaller country with a smaller population, there's a way to deal with that in terms of raw numbers and controlling for it. But I think what will be interesting are rates of spread in terms of percentage of the geography that's urbanized. And how much is rural, because America should have a lot of natural advantages like Canada does, in that it has some population centers, but a lot of the country is in very rural areas where in theory you should have a less exposure because you have more opportunity to be away from people. You're not crowded literally into apartment buildings that are 20 stories tall with elevators that everybody uses and breathes in. But I think if you probably compare rates of infection for urbanized areas in a country versus rural areas, the United States is just going to be like just at the top, crazy at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed. Where are we? Yeah, but amazing. The lie, the Cumgate lie of testing your eyesight was challenged because no one else seems to have had a problem with their eyesight, particularly who's
losing
had
their
COVID.
sense of smell and taste. Yes.
Smell and taste, general weakness and stuff, but not necessarily eye. Now, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a thing, but you can tell that they're beefing up that lie because Boris Johnson said in the latest press conference he had never needed glasses until contracting COVID-19, except that this is an article from the Daily Mail from 2014 in which Boris Johnson, the then Mayor of London, says, "I'm blind as a bat," and has admitted to needing house glasses to see anything around his house.
Yeah. And then the question comes, okay, so were you lying then or are you lying now?
Yeah.
That's the question. It's not if you're lying.
He's lying now. Well, yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, he could have said that to be, like, for some reason, weirdly, pathologically a liar, but he's lying either way.
Oh, well, that's another thing with Cummings. It seems that he went back and edited one of his old blog posts so that he was predicting COVID happening.
Oh, okay, great.
I don't know why, because no one was angry with him about that. No, you couldn't predict it. How could anyone predict it?
There's something
I don't know
about...
why. It's why lie for the sake of lying. It's so pointless.
There's something about people who go back to their old posts and make edits and then just leave the original date on that makes me go, you're immediately untrustworthy to me if you're willing to manipulate people like that about this issue.
Yeah, indeed. So, you know how the right wing like to trigger the libs?
Yeah, because, saying offensive things to hurt people's feelings is really fun for them.
Well, this person took the trigger part of it a little bit too literally.
What?
It's pointing a loaded gun at his own cock to own the libs. Now, as someone points out here, even the cat can see what a dumbass this person. And then someone zoomed in. That's the cat's face.
Dude, what are you doing?
That cat has seen some shit in that household. I feel so sorry for that cat. Bless them. Anyway.
That's actually a really great picture of the cat.
We also have the return of Piggy Cat.
It's pig. He does have a pig nose. Yeah. Look at him. He's pouting with his pig nose.
You are a god, Pig Cat. You are. Absolutely. And now to this.
Okay, yeah. Now the show really gets. That was just the opening act stuff.
Yeah. So,
it's
there's
phase
more
2.
serious stuff to come.
Cumgate was obviously we'll come back to Cumgate because
there's lots of stuff upcoming. This is amazing. I don't even know where to fucking begin. Content warning: transphobia.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, Peter Coffin, and you won't have seen this, Kristi, because obviously you're blocked.
I am blocked.
As is several other people now, including Gushin, who's a trans content creator from, originally from Britain, but now living in New Zealand, who has been friends with Peter for quite a while, and dared to say, maybe this is a bit of a hot take, blocked. Mm-hmm. So, he's really interested in not alienating people, as you see here. Basically, guys, we need to feel really sorry for the transphobes, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Peter says, and this, by the way, this Kelly person, I was following this person up until today. I didn't really know who they were, but I'd followed them because they just said leftist YouTube content creator. I thought, okay, I'll follow. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to read out their quote?
No, not really, but I will if I have to. I'll put on a voice so nobody can think it's really me. You know what will really build leftist power? getting working class cisgender women fired from their jobs for having the opinion that trans women are not women.
That was nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to actually say those words in my voice. So, yeah.
It was almost as good as my Watson. Almost.
Yeah, but yours is an impression, whereas mine's an interpretation. I'm trying to.
Yeah, exactly. You took an acting direction, a brave direction, if you don't mind me saying, and you nailed it.
Yeah, it was kind of East Coast kind of thing.
It was a kind of East Coast meets Valley Girl thing.
Yeah. But without the lilt at the end of the sentence, because when people do that, I want to throttle them.
Yes. Yes, indeed. To which Peter says, this is amazing, right? There's something I've said recently. People have a right to be wrong. Unfortunately, firing people for being transphobic actually makes them and everyone who loves them and therefore wants them to have a home and food more transphobic.
Yes, it's really important that the people who are bigoted are protected in the situation where they're the bully and they're not vulnerable. I mean, okay, now I'm not even going to say that. When it comes to this, the workplace is not a negotiable place. You want to talk about outside life and home, but people have a right to be in their workplace and not feel endangered or dehumanized because nobody wants to go to work like that. And if you can't follow that policy, and actually, I have a link. I have a story on this if you want, because someone linked to the High Court decision that basically said, in a workplace you don't have a right to be a bigot. Like their rights as a person are being violated by your attitude. So they're more harmed than you are by you being this way and expressing.
He continues for some fucking reason. You personally probably love someone who is transphobic. You probably do not want them to suffer or die. Instead, you probably want them to stop being transphobic. Who's saying anyone has to suffer and die?
You know who dies? Trans women, especially.
Yeah.
That's who's dying here.
Yeah. This is amazing from someone who claims to want social justice. What people, quote unquote, deserve is essentialist bullshit.
Okay, I just have to ontologically take issue with this, but go ahead. You can finish the tweet.
People can and do change. We should be giving them the tools to. Also, the people who don't change don't deserve to be beheaded, do they? Who's beheading anyone, you fucking idiot? Institutionalized power has given them the wrong information. Is that their fault? There's so much to unpick with this now. The first fucking 6 words are amazing.
You could just literally swap out everything in this conversation to be about white supremacists, and it'll come down to, won't someone think of the Nazis? You know, it's like, why don't we pay more attention to the people who are oppressed and their feelings than the actual physical threats of the people that they are making uncomfortable in their workplace?
It's not even just feelings, as you point out, it's safety.
Yes. I was thinking about more like the feelings of the bigot are not outweighed by the physical. Yeah.
Well, that's the victim plain nonsense of to be beheaded. Who's being beheaded? It's someone losing their job because they did a thing that anyone would have lost the job for. There's never been a time when your personal conduct wasn't a matter of import to your employer.
I'm waiting for Peter's hot take that Amy Cooper shouldn't have been fired from her job just because she was completely, rude and racist to somebody while violating the rules of Central Park. And won't somebody think of the white women who want to call the police and say that they are having an aggressive whatever by an African American man? Yeah.
Yeah. What else did he do? Hang on a second. There was more. I have to go onto his page. Don't really want to, but there we go. Yes. So if you just give me a second.
Oh, because he gets to the point where he says the left is stupid, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Or he says the left is hella dumb or something.
I think I have that bookmarked. So nice.
Nice. That is nice.
That's very Kev. The first thing we see.
That is on brand.
That's quite on brand.
That is absolutely on brand. Where are we? Oop. Come on. God damn it. I will get to fuck it anyway. Right. We'll come. Where are we?
Oh my gosh.
Hello?
Sorry. You have to go. What What are you saying? That was not an argument?
Yeah, no, we get to it.
Is he
I
pulling
just
his
love
stuff
this.
on Molyneux now?
He is. That's why I bookmarked it. Anyway, we'll throw this one away. It's a funny one.
All right.
You're legally required to say, "Oh, big stretch" when a cat or dog stretches, regardless of the actual size of the
true.
stretch. That is a law. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote that law. I remember.
That's true.
Jack Saint said, "Transphobia is bad."
Mm-hmm.
To which Peter responds, "Problem is, that's not an argument. So probably don't tweet about it because it isn't actually helpful. Yes, obviously transphobia is bad."
He's dragging somebody for saying being a bigot is bad. Am I reading that right?
Yes.
So just someone who is, let's say, a cis person who has a bunch of followers and they tweet out transphobia is bad to be a role model as to how to not be, like bigotry is bad. And Peter's all like, that's not an argument. Maybe it's not. Oh my God, I can't even with this guy.
Anyway, right. Do you want to read Jack's perfectly salient point here?
You've had time to process this. I'm just getting hit with it. Jack says.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Kristi, if you hadn't annoyed the great and powerful Peter Coffin, you would be able to see his absolutely spicy off the scale takes.
Yes.
You're the one missing out, Kristi.
I'm glad I have my Kevin filter. Just the most noxious. No, I can't say it.
Noxious.
Yes. What happened to my mouth? It just went all fuzzy. All right, so Jack
You're thinking about pickles again.
I am. All right. Transphobia is the norm in modern society and remains an extremely significant issue. I don't feel the harm in reassuring people in amongst a heated debate about the absurdity of small edge case scenarios of a person being left destitute because of a secret transphobic thoughts.
Do you not see that injecting yourself into an argument in this manner, where the issue is not that transphobia is good, makes the implication that the argument going on is that's the argument going on to the casual observers, who then act as if that's what I'm saying? See, he's the victim in all of this. People, he is the victim. See,
transphobia is bad, but we're not actually allowed to hold transphobes accountable in the workplace.
Yeah. And he goes on fucking ranting bullshit about how punishment for bad beliefs is wrong. So apparently punching Nazis is not okay now.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. Like I say here, Gushin, fine leftist YouTuber, far more productive than Peter Coffin would ever be, blocked. Just for suggesting maybe chill on some of the posts for a bit.
Yeah, he really has tends to get into heated arguments. Yeah. I mean, he wants this attention.
Yeah. Tim Blake.
Oh, did Tim you get into it, Tim?
Yeah. Do you want to read Tim's bit?
Who would want a leftist movement without transphobia? Am I right?
What in the No. Time out. I am throwing a flag on that accent. That's a 10-yard penalty.
All right, I'll just try it over.
Roughing the nation there. Yeah, go on. Well, actually, no. Fuck it. Go for it. What's your bet? Give me your best.
No. I'll stop.
Give me your best Flight of the Conchords.
Who would know? Brit. Who would want a leftist movement without transphobia? Am I right? Really adds to leftism. Important to coddle bigots in order to have a really good left-wing movement. Yeah.
Who would want a leftist movement that doesn't understand that the way to eliminate transphobia is not to make every transphobic person's life harder? Oh, won't someone feel sorry for the transphobes?
And nobody's saying make every transphobic person's life harder.
It's not fair and it doesn't feel good, but we have to stop being moral arbiters and create universal baselines of human decency.
What, like basic human rights?
Yeah. Human rights are
right.
Kristi.
He was talking about what people deserve, being essentialist bullshit, which I don't have time to get into, but no.
Tim doesn't. Tim is not playing his shit on this one.
Good for Tim.
Yeah.
How does coddling transphobia create a baseline of human decency? Makes absolutely no sense to me and sounds inherently contradictory. High five, Tim. If you validate and protract transphobia, you make it appear acceptable.
Correct. I mean, just correct. It's not, quote unquote cuddling transphobia literally at all. There is no quote unquote cuddling. It's fucking blocking and ignoring transphobes you see on Twitter instead of getting intimately involved in their lives. Yeah, because it's people who are against transphobia, not the transphobes who like to get intimately involved in other people's lives.
The whole premise of this was about a woman who was transphobic in her workplace and was fired.
Yeah.
So why are you talking about tweeting people? He's moving the goalpost because he's just basically avoiding Tim's point here.
But Kristi, not moving the goalposts is neoliberal. It's neoliberal gatekeeping. Something, a castle, you're storming the castle of memes and ideas. It's not an argument. It's essentialist nonsense.
Let me kick myself in the balls. Okay.
Yeah. This, in line with the thing that we've been, the last couple of shows I've shown you, people, you need to write things more coherently on signs, including on buses. Because that reads, 70,000 can't be teeth wrong.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's quite ridiculous.
So that's the
People,
thing.
go to like art school.
This is a mind-blowing story. This blew me away. Again, content warning, sexual assault.
Okay.
But this is an amazing story. This woman writes, to the asshole who read my comments about having a daughter as the result of rape and then DM'd me and said we were both damaged goods and she's an abomination to God who should have been aborted, I found your Facebook page.
Good.
You were also stupid enough to leave your Facebook on public. And within your info, I found all of your family members that have been listed and sent screenshots of your message to me, every single one of them. Then I sent them to your pastor. Do not fuck with my daughter. This is amazing. Remember what you said about abortion, right?
Yeah.
I also discovered that you sit on 3 different anti-abortion boards. The heads of those boards have also received screenshots of your very conflicting messages.
Damn.
I'm just getting started. I will find your entire life and ruin it.
Wow.
It gets, yeah, there's a payoff as well. Hang on 1 second. Where are we? Yeah. 1 second. Update. Meeting with the pastor and their church board went better than expected. He and his wife were there. He was removed from his church position and relieved of committee duties by full vote. He apologized for his actions and his wife has demanded he seek counseling.
Wow.
HR from his company called me. Normally, he would be asked to close the social media in question and then given a write-up. However, since he already deleted his Twitter account, they took that as him trying to cover it up, and he is receiving 2 write-ups. I've decided to let this be the end. While I feel his apology was more than that he was sorry he got caught, his wife's apology and horror was very real. I appreciate every single one of you who's offered support and love during this. I'm doing my best to follow everyone back. Go and follow her. She's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Power. And the thing is, people think anonymity protects them, and then they say the mask drops.
Yeah.
And then you go in and you try to mess up somebody's life. You try to hurt somebody, and you think that it won't come back to you.
Yeah.
And
it just goes to show you how pro-life these people are. Yeah.
Oh my.
Now, moving from a woman who's powerful in a good way to a woman who's powerful in a bad way, but using it in a rare moment of good way.
Okay.
Is that confusing enough? I think
Yes.
so. Do you want to read Donald Trump?
3 years ago, after Jeff Sessions recused himself, the fraudulent Mueller scam began.
No.
Alabama, do not trust Jeff Sessions. He let our country down. That's why I endorsed Coach Tommy Tuberville. Really? The true supporter of our MAGA agenda.
Now, it's interesting because just like his previous support for...
I would just read through that.
Alabama
I wasn't going to stop.
well, wasn't it? Yeah. Alabama senator.
Yeah, Roy Moore.
This motherfucker's got a shady past too. It appears that he may have been involved in a hit-and-run death that's still being investigated. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama's fucked up, man. And Coulter, again, evil human being, but she went off on Trump. She really went off on him today. and the last couple of days, in fact.
Okay, get popcorn.
She said, yeah, shouting, this is all caps, this bit, Trump got Alabama a Democratic US Senator by his idiotic meddling in the primary last time. If you know nothing else, Alabamians, which is apparently what they're called,
Yep.
Fair enough, you should do the opposite of what Trump recommends in a primary. Jeff Sessions then blah-de-blah-de-blah. Yeah, this is amazing. What she calls Trump is. She says, observe a gentleman and a man, not a whining, blame-shifting, gigantic fruitcake. Wow. She is...
yeah, she's off the Trump train, I guess.
Yeah, it appears so. She's about to find out that that's the only grift in town on that side, though, so we'll see. Yeah, so that's the tweet you already read out. So she's replying again to the same tweet. The media is salivating over the former football coach Tommy Tuberville, choice of the most disloyal human God ever created, DJT. As if you didn't know. I mean, she was replying to him, but just in case you weren't sure.
Well, you know,
I suppose she knows her audience.
Yeah, she knows her audience.
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that she capitalised God. Yeah, we get it, Anne. We get it. Fucking hell. Again, she's replying to the same fucking tweet for a third time.
She's pissed.
Yeah. The most disloyal actual
R word.
I gave a general content warning. Actual R that has ever set foot in the Oval Office is trying to lose and take the Senate with him. Another Roy Moore fiasco, so he can blame someone else for his own mess. It's difficult to spin that as like a 5-star review.
Kevin, does it keep going?
It does. It's the same tweet again. This is the fourth time she's replying now.
Yes.
3 years ago, a complete moron of a president told NBC's Lester Holt, quote, I was going to fire Comey when I decided to just do it, and I said to myself, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia, a made-up story, unquote. Bam! Special prosecutor. Don't even know what that means. Is that a mic drop in right-wing world? I don't know.
Maybe.
But I just like the fact that she's shouting. That's fun. This was quite funny as well. Because she turned on the God King Emperor, Donald J. Trumpington III, the right wing have come after her, including a guy called Mark Dice, who's
a piece of
horrific
shit.
Rape-supporting racist piece of garbage, who wrote, Ann Coulter isn't really taking menopause too well.
Because, patriarchal white supremacist men go immediately toward misogyny when dealing with a woman.
But she snaps back, though, with,
okay.
Mark Dice having trouble dealing with his small penis. That's a good burn. That's a solid burn. And then just to finish things off with titties. And I put hallelujah. So we can all, that is a prayer we can all pray, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's me done.
They're awesome.
Titties
are awesome.
They are.
Right. Oh, let's see. I think I've got to. Yep. Oh, and then I got to move the chat because I moved it over, so it was covering up the trending when we were on your page. Oh, I have to screen share with you? No, you can see my screen. No, I have to screen share with you. Right?
I guess so.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Hold on. You want to see what's going on now. All right. Sorry, we're doing the split thing.
It or leave it.
We're doing the split thing now where Kevin's got the stream, but I've zoomed.
Like Kraut's penis. Yeah.
All right. Oh, yes, this. The sad marker that we mentioned earlier. And Trump, this is the tweet he sent out. This is the fucking tweet he sent out. For all the political hacks out there, if I hadn't done my job well and early, we would have lost 1.5 to 2 million people, as opposed to the 100,000 plus that looks like will be the number. 100,000 plus isn't the number. He goes on, that's 15 to 20 times more than we will lose. I shut down entry from China very early. What he's saying is he hadn't done his job well. That was were the estimates if they did nothing.
Yeah.
That's what he's comparing himself to.
Yeah, and also, how is that a good... compared to any other country in the world, how does America's numbers look good?
Yeah.
At all? You're the richest nation on the earth. You could have handled this.
And he didn't even close off travel. There were a bunch of residents who were still traveling around.
Yeah.
So he didn't close off everything to China. And he's still writing that stuff from the first thing he did, because it was like the only thing he did. Oh yeah, we talked a little bit about everybody knows Amy Cooper now.
Central Park Karen, yeah.
Yes. Apparently, the president of Central Park Civic Association is censuring Amy Cooper and calling for her to be banned from Central Park.
That's going to be pretty difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think
Quite
so.
a big area.
Yep.
Also, how is that enforceable? Like, what, are they going to arrest her if she tries? Like,
yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not really the point. It's just a thing. But I was thinking about this. Given what we know about the way in which American police treat black men, especially black men who are seen as dangerous, as she was trying to imply here, that's almost like attempted murder.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what she was doing. She was basically using her whiteness. She was weaponizing her whiteness, and she was making him, being a black man, criminal. She was playing on that. She knew exactly what she was doing. And this is why, there are social consequences. And now it looks like she's going to be fired from her job as well. And the thing is, when you have a private company, you draw that heat on them. It's not the government. You have no freedom of speech in your company. And if they're going to lose customers by standing by you and lose more money because you brought this heat on yourself, then they're going to dump you. It's not about fair. It's about consequences. So, apparently the chat were being snarky, or not snarky, but they were being silly because I dragged them across the screen. They're like, "Ooh, I'm dizzy." Like, do it slower next time, Kristi. Don't drag us so fast.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
All right. So yes, this was the person.
She lost her dog.
Oh yeah, because she was, how she was strangling it while she was.
She was what?
So in the video, which I haven't watched in full, but I've seen it. Like I haven't opened it up and listened to the whole thing, but I've seen it enough on a loop because people have the video. While she's yelling at him, she's standing up, and her dog is much shorter, so she has the leash like really close to the dog's neck, and she's basically like almost strangling the dog because it's up so high, and she's not paying any attention to what she's doing.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's probably why she got her dog taken away.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, but I was just thinking, like, if that's just because that would be obviously distressing for the dog to lose its owner. But if it's being strangled, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's no, not that the strangling is fair enough. It's fair enough that the dog has been, kept safely. Yeah.
So yeah, content warning for transphobia. I should have said that before I made it bigger on the screen, but I hadn't read down to see the quote. All right, so the Kelly person that you no longer follow was
Indeed.
also replying to apparently someone named Cayennes and Skittles and Sean from Sean's channel. And she wrote, Maya...
From Sean and the Gens.
Well, it's not Jen anymore. It hasn't been Jen for years.
It hasn't been that for like 2 years.
Yeah. Maya Forstarter was fired from her job at the Center for Global Development in the UK after she publicly said via Twitter that, quote, men cannot change into women, unquote. You're the fundamentally unserious about building a mass base. If this is the hill you're dying on, you know I'm right.
No.
Okay.
Also, what hill is anyone dying on? A private company did a thing.
Yeah, well...
I mean, what can I even do about that? Even if I felt it was wrong, what could I do about that?
Yeah. So Elizabeth is 100% that witch, writes, very working class, Peter, in reply. So this was the person that she's referring to.
Well, not just that, but I mean, this is so annoying when you get middle class pricks like Peter and his faux revolutionaries speaking on behalf of working class people. It's basically saying you have to be bigoted in order to attract working class people. Do you know how patronizing that is? Like, fuck you, you little fucking suburbs, fucking milk raised prick. Fuck off.
Yeah. So this was back in December of 2019. So this isn't like a new thing that just happened.
No.
And it says anti-trans, quote, gender critical, unquote, views are not a protected characteristic under the Equalities Act. The judge rules. I took my eyes off.
It's not a characteristic.
Yep.
Look, you're not born gender critical.
No. So
I mean, it could be argued you can develop gender criticalness, and hopefully they invent a cure for it eventually. But until that day, it's not a characteristic. It's a rather silly belief.
Mm. Okay, so the poll quote, or the poll section here is, a researcher who said she lost her job for tweeting, quote, gender critical, unquote, views has lost her test case because her opinions are, quote unquote, absolutist. Maya Forstarter said the landmark...
Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you get away with Firestarter twice.
Forstarter, I said.
Forstarter.
Yes. Said the landmark case could establish that gender critical views are protected belief, or are a protected belief under the 2010 Equalities Act.
Are they saying it's a religion?
Talking. Well, you have to let me read on.
Well, that's what I mean. I may be foreshadowing here, or just jumping the gun, but that appears to be the line of argument they're using.
Well, we'll see.
It's a bold strategy. We'll see.
The judgment found that gender-critical views are not protected under the Equality Act 2010, noting that they are, quote, not worthy of respect in a democratic society, unquote.
Oh. Shots fired by Judgy McJudgington.
And that they
McJudgeface.
Yes, and that they conflict with the fundamental rights of others, human rights of others. For starter, is not entitled to ignore the legal rights of a person who has transitioned gender, the judgment said, noting the, quote, enormous pain that may be caused by misgendering a person, unquote. Judge James Taylor, an employment judge, said, quote, the claimant's position is that even if a trans woman has a gender recognition certificate, she cannot honestly describe herself as a woman. That belief is not worthy of respect in a democratic society, unquote. Taylor added, the claimant largely ignores intersex conditions and the fact that biological opinion is increasingly moving away from an absolutist approach. Many of the concerns that the claimant has, such as ensuring protection of vulnerable women, do not, in fact, rest on holding a belief that biological sex is immutable, unquote.
Yeah.
So they knocked her back.
Really.
Yeah. Yep. So that was basically it, I think.
Yeah.
So you see, Taylor ruled there's one bit here.
Go ahead.
But Taylor ruled that for starters' views did, quote, not have the protected characteristics of a philosophical belief, unquote, and are, quote, incompatible with human dignity and the fundamental rights of others, unquote. So you can't just say, I believe in bigotry and that's my right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's because then you could just say, well, I'm race critical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I don't know, I'm femoid critical.
Yep. So it's not just that she lost her job. What Kelly here and Peter are leaving out is that a court struck down the idea of a defense there.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. But that's legislation introduced by a conservative government. So how is it the left doing anything there?
Yes.
Please do tell me.
Yeah.
And I just said, but talking about that's the hill you want to die on. This is the hill you pricks want to die on?
Mm-hmm.
Defending this garbage?
Well, I mean, they were also defending, the white supremacist that armed people, mostly men, taking over state legislatures, saying, "Oh, if only we'd given them hope."
Yeah. Fun times.
So now we're going to switch again here. Bess Kalb had a great tweet that I thought we should look at.
That's not a real name. Kalb.
Today I learned that the tiny whisk I assumed was a salad dressing whisk and had been using for about 2 years to make salad dressings is, in fact, a Christmas ornament.
Oh. Well, if it's been usable, that's good. You repurposed a thing.
I know I had a little whisk that was probably like not longer than the length of my hand. It was perfect for making little salad dressings, Because you don't want to make that much salad dressing if it's only like 2 people or 4 people. You don't need like a whole bottle of salad dressing.
You know how I get around that? Fuck salad.
No, salad is very good for you. All right.
Well, but so is exercise. It's also shit. So.
Exercise is lame too, but I like a fresh salad. All right, so I have to give a little bit of context to this because
what's a cat? What context is needed?
Well, the cat's name is Aria, and her the person that takes care of her servant, is Chris Evans, and so he's just going to give us what it's like to live with Aria. Okay.
Is that Chris Evans as in Captain America?
No, it's a different Chris Evans. Okay, here we go.
Arya? 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 Hungry?
She knows the difference between her name and "Are you hungry?"
Aw.
So
Yes.
I thought that was great. Like, cats do understand people.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's this Chris Evans.
that's not
One of the other
that's not
Chris's.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Sounds like Chris and Evans are quite common names in the Anglophone world.
Yeah. Okay, so then there were some more Peter Coffin things, but we can skip those because I was just doing some, other people's takes on it.
Yeah.
This isn't, okay, this is like, I know things were bad during Thatcher, but I thought this was pretty funny. The British are finally experiencing what it's like to have the British rule your country.
Yeah, fair. This must, oh God. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the veil of the British establishment being worthwhile or useful is now gone.
Yep.
Which was the only thing keeping the country together. It really was. That press conference with fucking old Commie McCumface.
Yeah.
Sat at this pathetic little desk, this weedy little man. It's so pathetically modern Britain. It's so pathetic. It's this shitty little, entirely undeserving man who shouldn't be anywhere near the reins of power whatsoever, mumbling and stumbling his way through half-assed lies, not able to answer even the most simple thing correctly, being asked patsy questions by shit journalists. We're such a pathetic residue of a country. It's embarrassing.
All right, on that positive note.
Well, I know it's called the happy hour, but I mean,
yeah,
it's difficult to look at Britain and feel happy.
Well, once you get over the whole COVID thing, you've got Brexit to look forward to.
Oh, well, that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but it'll actually start. It'll be your new reality. But
yeah.
So the Trumpians now aren't even trying to say the quiet part, softly. They're doing it out loud. Here's Lindsey Graham actually saying that we need a strong man.
Understand what's at stake. Yeah. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security. Joe Biden's a nice man.
Are you sharing with volume?
But we don't need
that.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if we really had to. Oh, you know what? That's probably why you didn't react so much to the Arya thing. All right, let me retry, do the stop sharing and I'll reshare. All right. Okay. I feel like we have to go back and do the kitty thing now because you didn't really get the whole thing.
It's a cat. I'm okay.
Okay.
I follow 1 million cats.
All right. Yes, that's true. But basically he went, Arya, and she just ignored him. And then he went, hungry? And that's when she went, and she actually went when she lifted her head. It was very adorable. I'm sorry you didn't get to hear that. All right, here's Lindsey Graham.
Well, you can go back and play if you want to.
Okay, we'll do it after Lindsey Graham as a palate cleanser.
Okay.
We need a strong man. And President Trump's a strong man. Well, who do you trust?
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a strong man. All right.
I can't wait to find out. I genuinely can't wait to find out what information they have on him.
On Lindsey Graham?
Because he was really anti-Trump, and then all of a sudden he's like the biggest Trumpian ever.
Yeah, well, someone compared him to the parasites that latch onto sharks. Like he needs someone more, he bends toward the strongest force, and then we'll just try to get to that power.
I believe they're called plovers.
Yes, maybe. I used to live in a place called Plover. I hope not. Okay, so we ready for we'll go full screen again because she's so adorable. And I turned the sound up a little bit for you as well because it was a little bit quiet before. So.
Okay. Arya.
Puts her paw over her eyes.
Arya. Hungry?
And then she's like, "Are you playing with me?" he starts laughing that look. It's like, have I just been played?
Yeah. This motherfucker.
Yeah. But her
Don't say, are you hungry if you don't have food, dickhead?
So yeah, that little brrr was just the most adorable thing. Much better than looking at Lindsey Graham. Oh gosh, yeah. Did you see? Okay, so Trump has gotten in a fight with Joe Scarborough.
Yes. That's the new Q thing, isn't it? That Joe Scarborough's a murderer.
Well, actually, because I watched their show for like years, and I follow them on Twitter, and sometimes while they're on air, I've seen people yell that at him, but they're like fringe people, like haters in his DMs kind of thing. But to have the president of the United States tweet that stuff out, and then this from Donnie O'Sullivan, despite pleas to Jack from Twitter, from Lori Klossutist's widow, I think it was a guy, wasn't it? Twitter says this morning will.
Well, yeah, but it's the yeah, so it would be widower, yeah.
Yeah, it would be widower.
You're right, yes.
Okay. Twitter says this morning it will not be removing Trump's tweets that insinuate Morning Joe Scarborough was responsible for her death.
Yeah, because they're garbage.
They're fucking garbage.
They don't get rid of actual like neo-Nazi shit, so.
I know, it's just like, why can't you just once, for the sake of the family? But I hope to God Joe Scarborough sues him for slander once he gets out of the White House.
Yeah, that would be good.
Amy apologized, but I mean, she blew up her own life. So, this was Timothy, her husband, who'd written a letter, basically to Jack saying, "Please take this down. My wife deserves better." And they said no. Oh yeah, this was a press conference, right? Yep.
I mean, just look at it. It's just like he's like a low rent sixth form teacher.
Oh yes, and he's trying to he's trying to play the victim.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't talk about this, but this is just like such BS.
Was subject to threats of.
Yeah. He had to drive 260 miles to stay at a cottage on his father's estate.
Yeah.
And he's the victim. Okay.
To get away from protesters who I'm sure he's got security. Don't even tell me he doesn't have security.
Interestingly, just a pure coincidence in many respects, but the Tories were complaining about him being doorstepped by the press, and someone said he should contact his MP about this. And do you know who his MP is?
No, who is it?
Jeremy Corbyn. He just happens to live in Jeremy Corbyn's constituency. So I think he might have one or two things to say about that.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, he tries to claim that he was being targeted by protesters during the lockdown.
No, they weren't. That's
exactly.
Such a lie.
All right.
So the people on his street are giving him a hell of a time at the minute, which is fun. I saw there was a row of about 5 people who lived on his street who, as he was walking down the street, just put the middle finger up to him. Just stood there blatantly in the middle of the street, and he had to walk back. You know, when you give that look, like I haven't even seen that thing that's obviously happening right next to me. Like he was giving one of those stairs straight forward.
I'm ignoring you. You.
It was so much fun. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So yes, here he's claiming that he was targeted, okay.
Violence. People came to my house shouting threats. There were posts on social media encouraging attacks. There were many media reports on TV showing pictures of my house. I was also worried that given the severity of this emergency, this situation would get worse. And I was worried about the possibility of leaving my wife and child at home all day and often into the night while I worked in number 10.
Again, take time off work and be a dad.
Yeah. Or you work for the British government. Well, they can't post like a security officer at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're genuinely scared for your look, I mean, I don't like the guy, but he is like a powerful dude, or whatever. And if it's important that he's at number 10 Downing Street, post a copper outside his fucking door. Yeah. Like, I don't think that's too crazy an idea. I don't like him, but I get that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to run up to visit family for a weekend or whatever.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. And of course, the fact that they then went on a holiday within the holiday to drive 30 miles to test whether his eyes worked. Like, oh God.
Yeah. All right. Robert Reich pointing out that in the middle of a pandemic, the Republican Party is suing, in the case of the state of California, for making it easier and safer to vote. This should tell you all you need to know about their stance on democracy.
Yeah, well, like I said, they want a straw man or even a strong man.
Yes. Yep.
They don't want a Democratic leader.
Nope, because he'll lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the press conference or briefing, the new press secretary displays a $100,000 check President Trump is donating from his presidential salary to HHS Gov, I don't know which one, Health and Human Services, for the development of medications to prevent and treat coronavirus. And as Jermaine Clement points out, that's $1 per death.
Although interesting, I mentioned Flight of the Conchords earlier, so that's a nice reference.
Yeah, actually, I didn't realize it was. Yeah, that Jermaine.
Yeah.
Wow. He's still got the Live in London show up there. That's probably how most people in the English speaking world outside of maybe Australia know him. Let's see.
New Zealand.
No turfs on the left. No. But I mean, I know. But if people in Australia would probably have heard of them. But England and the United States and Canada, it was probably the HBO special. That was my point.
I don't know that you can classify Australia as English speaking.
Well, I think they slide under the rubric of yes. Yeah.
Like saying Alabama is English speaking. Really? You heard those fucking people? Kentucky? That's not English.
So yes, MX.
Don't even get me started on Arkansas.
This MX Enk. I'm just gonna like not stop at their name there. It says no turfs on the left, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's Peter would say that's just terrible virtue signaling.
No, won't someone
not an argument.
Oh, you woke scolds. Won't someone feel sorry for the transphobes?
That's not an argument.
Yeah.
I take it you've seen this?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, for the peoples.
It's one of the many, many government ministers who've desperately tried and fumbled pathetically because they know they don't have a leg to stand on. There's no good argument to excuse what we know has happened. They've tried to lie and say, no, those reports are false, even though they weren't false. And more has come out and more continues to come out about what he's been up to.
Here's the thing. When you keep changing your story, it just makes you think, again, well, are you telling the truth now or were you telling the truth then? And if you were, it's like, why does the reason for your leaving keep changing? Why didn't you just explain everything at once? Why do you have to keep adding to it? It's because one thing doesn't work, so you change it and you try it again. And that just destroys your credibility. This is why people are ticked off.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really good cringe, I have to say. This is pretty good.
This is amazing, yeah.
All right, here we go. I have no idea what the volume is, so if I need to adjust, I will.
Saying that he could return.
Whoa, that's very loud. All right, I'm going to take you back. I think I have these. I'm going to do it on the fly, but okay, try again.
Saying that he could return to work.
Right. Would you go on a 60-mile round trip to test your eyesight?
I have, on occasions in the past, driven with my wife in order to make sure that... what's the right way of putting it?
I'm staggered. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one, but it's going to be fun.
Saying that he could return to work.
Right.
Yeah.
He started that sentence with no idea where it was going to go.
Yeah, because again, there's no defending that.
No.
It's an excuse that if a 6-year-old told you, it would be cute. Because you think, they don't understand. That's obvious bollocks. But this man's one of the most powerful human beings in the country.
Yeah. This from Political Rants. The government is actually saying this. F you, save Dominic. F the NHS.
If they put half the amount of energy into saving the tens of thousands of British people who've died of COVID as they've put into saving Dominic Cummings' career, we would have saved a hell of a lot of lives.
Yep. Right. Oh, are we gonna? Do you know when this happened? This clip that was shared the other day?
I don't, to be honest. No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just skip it then. Hey, a small victory. Some good news.
Go on then.
All South Carolina voters will now have access to vote by mail and won't need a witness to sign their ballot during the COVID-19 pandemic. No one should have to choose between their health and their vote, from the ACLU.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
absolutely awesome.
Oh, this is Diane Abbott, who writes, Dominic Cummings complains at his Downing Street press conference that there has been a long string of inaccurate stories about him. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, as someone pointed out, Dominic Cummings has refused to apologise for breaking the rules that his government has imposed. Diane Abbott was forced to apologise for drinking a mojito on a train.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So,
give me the confidence of the mediocre, pathetic white man.
Yeah. So this opinion take, Joe Rogan is the new mainstream media. Dennis DeClaudio writes, by, wait for it, Barry Weiss.
Oh, fucking hell. Just when you think she can't get worse.
Yeah. Oh, I got this one for you, Kev. Can you read the text?
It says, Dad, are we pyromaniacs? We are, son. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
I put those in just for you. Sometimes I do them just for you. All right. What did you tag me into? Oh,
yeah. That's Boris Johnson coming out of the fridge. It's a callback to the last show.
Yeah. There he is. Oh, nice. That's good stuff. Good times last show. All right. Oh, and Trump is freaking out about the idea of people actually voting. He wrote this. The United States cannot have all mail-in ballots. It will be the greatest rigged election in history. People.
What's with the random capitalized?
I know.
Rigged an election, mail. What?
And ballots.
What are the rules in this man's head?
It's not as bad as Bullock getting tossed off the ballot.
The word scam. The last word is capitalized. I genuinely, I want to know what he thinks the rules of like grammar are.
Whatever he says they are.
Yeah.
So here's his rationale. People grab them from mailboxes, print thousands of forgeries, and force people to sign. Also forge names. Some absentee okay when necessary.
Oh, he can't even
like
write
for
sentences.
Me, because I'm the president and I voted absentee in the last election.
Why? That's ridiculous. And just put right full sentences.
Yeah.
Some absentee okay when necessary.
Trying to use COVID for this scam. He doesn't have to, he just speaks in grunts. He just has to grunt at his supporters. Oh, yes. And this I saw in my feed, and I just had to make a comment on this. So this is what showed up in my YouTube feed. Candace, the most controversial thing I've ever done was decide to think with my brain instead of my skin tone.
When have you ever thought, Candace?
So I went and I found this. I dug this up. Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well. Okay, fine. The problem is he had dreams outside of Germany. Yeah. Thinking with your brain. That's
those are some high level ideas to quote to quote a certain genius. By the way, I was looking at Dave Rubin because Dave Rubin appointed me in this direction by moaning like a little bitch about the fact that he was getting 1-star reviews on Amazon. So he tried to get his subscribers to like flood Amazon with 5-star reviews.
Of course he did.
And notice that, but he was saying that was the modern equivalent of book burning, was them giving him 1-star review. He's so desperate. He was so desperate for people to actually burn the book. That was the whole grift. He called it that. He wanted them to actually burn it so he could go, look at the left, aren't they stupid? And everyone just went, no, this book's shit. And apparently that's them infringing on his freedom of speech somehow.
I think the problem is people actually read the book and realized maybe we should burn it. It's just bad.
Well, look, as I said, I wouldn't waste fire on it.
No.
It's just not. It's not worth burning. It just and I don't have a physical copy. It's just a fucking PDF or whatever. But it's fucking rank.
So did you go give it a 1 review?
No, I haven't given it a review.
Okay.
I haven't finished the book yet, so it might. I'm prepared to be one round by the last 2 chapters. You never know. Could be a classic. But I went to look at the one because he piqued my interest.
Should we look at them?
These were there. Can do if you want to. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
The 1-star reviews are amazing. Some
What's
of
it
them
called?
are
Like,
really
don't
funny.
burn this book?
Yeah, don't just put Amazon. Don't burn this book. And then scroll down to the comments, and basically all of and you can tell he's flooded it with them because virtually all of the reviews are either 1 star or 5 stars. They're very few in the middle.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah,
Yep.
there we go.
Yes. Did it tell you how many people have voted? 535. So he's not really.
He's not dragging him in, is he? Yeah.
Read the book, save the country.
The top critical review: a book filled with partisan rhetoric and historical inaccuracies. The book is filled with false statements and mistakes. Oh, hang on.
There you go.
Example: Ruben says that Ukraine gave up nukes in exchange to become a NATO member. Yet Ukraine is not in NATO. Yeah. In a nutshell, this book is mostly focused on praising members of the so-called intellectual. Where the fuck did that go?
Sorry,
Dark web.
Yeah.
IDW, and critical of its detractors. Ruben talks a lot about ideas in the book, but never really goes into substance, making it a vague, abstract concept to highlight his personal opinion on how things should work, rather than having an open mind to ideas that differ from his. To me, this book felt rushed with lazy writing. So true. Oh my God. Which is bizarre because he spent years doing it. So I mean, anyway.
It's rushed at the end. You always write when the deadline comes up.
Exactly, yeah. He's got, I've got to have fucking another 20,000 words in by Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to push a personal agenda. He really tries hard to make jokes and be funny and witty, but humour or intellectual wit is definitely not his forte. So if you're looking for validation in your already existing point of view, this book may actually be your pure alley. But for free thinkers with open minds, I strongly encourage you to skip this one.
I just want to point out something that I found pretty funny, which is that this review has over 1,800 marks that 1,800 plus people found this helpful, whereas the top positive reviews has 328.
Yep, because that's exactly, he flooded it with 328 people. Presumably.
That's more than have voted so far.
Yeah. Do you want to scroll down and see some more? The prose is ordinary, like any book written by a celebrity who is not a serious academic or intellectual. Slightly embarrassing at times, often professional sounding. Occasionally professional sounding.
Yeah.
Ruben seriously pumps up his own biography, making a few discrepancies to his own recorded history, and certainly displays his famously sycophantic habit of name dropping, including intellectual luminaries like Locke, Jefferson, Adam Smith, etc., although he drops their names and spends zero time examining their ideas.
Just like Carl.
There are quite a few instances where his relationship to facts is either incomplete, always in the service of aiding right-leaning orthodoxy, or terribly inaccurate, like this sample from page 69. Nice.
Oh, it's a Ukraine thing again.
Yeah, the Ukraine thing. Not a member, okay. A good example of dishonesty by omission is the way Ruben goes on and on about left-wing politics among college professors and 19-year-old progressives is making it practically a felony to express conservative views, despite the mountain of research indicating that most college professionals are disciplined for expressing leftist views than conservative views, and his complete radio silence about places like Brazil, Turkey, Hungary and Poland, where left media is being censored, banned outright, and progressive college educators are being fired, censored, or even imprisoned by right-wing leaders like Viktor Orban and Jair Bolsonaro. Free speech for the right, but the left is censored. Crickets. Pretty illiberal, actually.
My gosh, they start channeling you.
Yeah, that's pretty bang on.
Brandon Pouncey.
Yeah, horrible book, poorly edited. Worst political reading years. Ouch.
All right.
It is one of the worst books I have read for a long time. First of all, I have no dog in the fight. I am not a left-wing, have some conservative views and believe in free markets. Further, I also do not like cancel culture and identity politics. There are far more better books, classical liberal, blah, blah, who cares? Next one. My brain in recovery mode from reading so many vapid and uninformed opinions. Trite and vapid drivel.
Let me scroll up.
Yeah.
Yep, which was...
Unfortunately, I did not find this book interesting or stimulating. On the contrary, it came across as a rant of a person angry at change and progress. Wouldn't waste time or money on this book. Oof. There was one in there about high-level ideas, but there have been so many poorly written, poorly edited, filled with unsubstantiated conspiracies, filled with lies, filled with failed attempts at humour, lacks historical context, lacks logical reasoning.
Go up one more.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Just I don't want you to miss this one.
I wish I hadn't pre-ordered this. Huge letdown. Not a compelling read. I guess I'm impressed Rubin didn't appear to use a ghostwriter. Although this is so poorly written, one has to wonder if he even used an editor. Or if you're looking for libertarian-leaning politics author, try Andrew Sullivan instead. Like Rubin, he is a gay man who doesn't fit easily on either side of the political divide. I don't particularly agree with him on everything, but he's a brilliant writer.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You lost me at, I guess I'm impressed Rubin didn't appear to use a ghostwriter.
One has to wonder if he even used an editor.
Yeah, but that's devastating. I guess I'm impressed.
That is damning with the faintest of praise. Oh.
That's definitely my favorite review so far. All right.
You are likely to know who Dave is going into this book. If you don't, you will need to read no deeper than 12 pages in to understand how shallow and vapid his thoughts and ideas are. The book, quote unquote, reads like it was written in crayon. Seems like a nice guy, just isn't a very smart one.
Also, the one above it too, 1 star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go on.
Okay. Funny that the whole book is about thinking for yourself, but Rubin has exactly 0 original thoughts or ideas. Just fluff. Expected more, even if his whole career is built on getting people smarter than him to make him look good.
Well, that's the entire thing. That's why the meme of the high-level ideas is so funny, because he talks about talking about ideas. He never actually talks about ideas. It's always, oh, I think ideas are really important. Free speech is good because that's how ideas come out. Okay, well, talk about ideas then.
Yeah, he always talks about ideas. He doesn't talk about theory.
Yeah, it's just, it's pointless. Vapid is the word. It's pointless listening to him because he doesn't say anything that isn't just shallow, hollow bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like a deck of cards as a series of ideas and theory as like an organizing rule of a game to tell you like, you know, like what cards mean or whatever, you know, the cards themselves are useless unless you can string them together. You know, just having ideas and opinions isn't thinking. It's just emoting mostly and then rationalizing your emotions.
Yeah, apologies to the person in the chat. Yeah, I seem like I'm moving because I'm having to read quite small text on a screen that's slightly further away than is ideal. So I'm sort of leaning forward to read the thing and then come back to them.
So we read a first page. I think that's enough. Yeah.
But anyway, talking about a pack of cards, Kristi, you're the Queen of Hearts.
Do you remember the song? Yes, nice. There was a song called "Playing with the Queen of Hearts."
Yes, and my anus is the center hole.
Yes. I don't know if we need to listen to, well, I don't know if you want to, it's a minute 27, but someone
this man has broken the guidelines, but the government has put in place.
Was that supposed to be an accent? Yeah, this is okay, this is SNP. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the leader,
right,
at Westminster of the SNP. Do
you want to hear him go off a bit?
Yeah,
let's hear some SNP.
He is the senior advisor to the Prime Minister, is the architect of much of the policy of the government. And I think it is as clear as mud that this man has broken the guidelines that the government has put in place. He simply has to accept responsibility for his actions. And of course, the Prime Minister has questions that he has to answer. He wasn't at the press conference yesterday. I'm asking that he makes himself available to the press this afternoon so that he can answer questions, because we know that the government were aware that Dominic Cummings was in lockdown, but there are many questions that the government has to answer. When did they know that Dominic...
He wasn't even just in lockdown, he's in quarantine.
Yeah, his wife had it, and it turns out he had it as well. Although that wasn't necessarily known, he was certainly exposed. And he took the COVID-19 on a nice little 500-mile round trip. That's nice. Thanks. Thanks, Dom. really helping.
All right, I'm not. So Sib Wolf said, in case you wanted to see that stream I mentioned, and I don't know if this was after the last show or what, but I guess. Oh, like okay. Should we just find out what this is?
If you wanna, what's Scottish cooking? What?
If it's not just a clip, then no, this looks too long.
It's the Weeble.
Place. Thank God.
Hey, I can't drive, so.
All right, no idea. We're just gonna move on.
I don't know what that is.
It made sense for me to put it in my bookmark. Usually I can trust myself, but clearly I thought that was something else. Oh, okay, yeah. Then there was. Remember we talked about the Joe Biden gaffe. I'm sure one of many that will come in the next couple months. But someone just tweeted this out, and I thought it was kind of like a yeah moment. This is from Corey Richardson, who writes, "Dear white people, gonna need y'all to sit this one out. Black folks who have been black for long enough can identify the difference between an awkward ally and a virulent racist. We're good." So yeah, I think it's just like in some of these conversations, everyone wants to have their hot take, but sometimes certain people like should be listened to more because they have more experience and they're directly affected, and it's about them. So don't tell them how to think and feel without listening to what they have to say.
But what's the point of being a white person if you're not going to speak over black people?
Yeah, that's the whole point of white supremacy. That's why I want to keep it going, right? Like Amy did. Did we already talk about this one? The bear ports? Yes, we did, didn't we? Or maybe I put this on my show.
Bear ports? I've not heard of bear ports. That's amazing.
Yeah, the nature is healing, Kevin. The bear ports are opening.
Oh, bear ports. That needs to be a thing.
I think I might have looked at this in my Sunday show.
I'm sick of these motherfucking Alaskan bears on this motherfucking plane.
Oh, you're having
That's
fun
a
with
movie I
this
want to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bear on a plane. What's not to love?
It's a good video.
That's a fat bear. That's taking that plane down.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I'm fat shaming a bear. And what? Oh.
Oh, also, Stool Fucker writes, Shoe-on-Head thinks Lauren Southern is a better person than Steve Shives. That's all you need to know.
Yep. But she's so left, guys. She's so left. It's fine. It's fine.
But
she's a better leftist. Kristi, she's better than us, okay?
Yes.
Don't forget that. Because she supported one candidate ever.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Checkmate.
She's like, don't trust the government, but put government in charge of healthcare. Shoe-on-Head 2020.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh.
And not in a good way.
No, like in a dimwit kind of way. So my theory on this is that the kitty is getting little peep massage from all the chicky feet that's walking up and down. And
it's probably quite warm as well.
Yes, because they're little just balls of fuzz. So let's just watch the cat enjoy getting basically like their version of a massage without people around.
I had a case of had a case of feline paralysis today.
What?
Rory Cat's got on the lap.
Oh,
I couldn't move. Desperate for a piss. He wouldn't move. I mean, and I couldn't move him, so I literally died. And but then he did something really cute, which gave me life again, and so I'm back.
Oh, well, that's good. Just in time for the show as well.
Yeah, which was helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I had pissed myself, so you know.
Carl Maxim, next slide, please. No, not that one.
Yeah, that's the trip he took.
Yes.
Because there was literally no way in anywhere else in the country he could have gotten childcare. It's not like the British government have an almost endless pot of resources that they could have dipped into.
Again,
to get him
take 2 weeks of sick time. Take 2 weeks of sick time and take care for your kid.
No, it's not like Boris Johnson who can take a month out and it doesn't make a difference. If this guy disappeared from government, people would notice.
When he's got a sick
things
wife.
Things would actually change.
When he's got a sick wife and a toddler, he still doesn't have time to be a father. He's so important.
Yeah. He is. And he shouldn't be. The fact that he is shows how shrunken and pathetic British politics is.
Oh, no, well, not just British politics. Did you read the story about the woman who had a company with 13 people, who had also a 3-year-old at home, and her husband, who was not working because he was unemployed, and he wasn't taking care of the kid to the point where she shut down her business and laid off her 13 staff so she could take care of her kid while her husband was still in the fucking house. 13 people lost their jobs. Because this guy can't be fucked to be a dad to his own kid.
Fuckery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. This was the poll I was telling you about. Cummings unites more than Brexit divides. Should Dominic Cummings resign? Remainers, yes, 66%. Leavers, 45%. No, Remainers, 18%. Leavers, 37%. Don't know, about 16 and 18% respectively.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I might have the same Christiosity tweet that you had. Yep.
Yeah. She was in the chat earlier, by the way. Hello.
Oh, hey, Chrissy.
I didn't want to interrupt because that's not my style, even though I literally interrupted to say that.
Yes.
So.
Right. So, Republican men force women to endure 9 months of pure misery by carrying a fetus to term because, quote, all life is precious, unquote, but refuse to wear a face mask to Kroger's because it's not their responsibility to sacrifice their freedoms to protect the vulnerable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That basically sums up, that's modern American politics in a nutshell.
The online normie complex writes, what will the Democrats do without the shit posters?
Yeah, I saw this today, and it was the other day, I should say, and it's so cringy.
It is.
The memesters or the memers. Well,
we should read it out first. We should read it out first, so people. Because all right, so June writes, Democrats, you had the Zoomers, the memers, the shit posters, and the cyberbullies. You cried about them for years and made Bernie denounce them multiple times. You could have released them like rabid hounds. Alas.
Yeah. Does this person think the internet is important in that way? Just you think memes are actually going to win an election? Because if so, she might be a bigger idiot than I've ever thought.
Yeah, I mean, the shit poster and the cyberbullies are exactly what wins elections. That's what democracy is about, Kevin. It's about people not taking politics seriously.
Interesting that she's constantly going on about how she can't control her audience and that she can't be responsible for cyberbullies, and she literally wants to weaponize cyberbullies.
Yep.
And specifically direct them, release them like rabid hounds. Yeah, you're just going to shot yourself in the foot there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. Okay. All right. Anyway, shoot being garbage. Something from Piers Morgan, which I know you liked.
I got a little tingle there.
Just a note, too, this is good. A federal judge on Friday dismissed a lawsuit filed against Rachel Maddow, finding she did not defame One American News when she said it was Russian propaganda. Go, Rachel. Go, Rachel. Yeah. Go, Rachel.
It's your birthday. It's probably not. Statistically, it's unlikely.
This is a Lindsey v. Lindsey ad. We can probably skip it.
Yeah. Well, it's a point I made earlier, yeah. Used to hate him, now he loves him.
Yep. And this is
the centre of gravity thing, yeah. We pointed this out last time. Mm-hmm. How is he upright? Has he got the buttocks of a horse? How is he keeping the weight aloft?
Yeah,
look
the
at
center of gravity.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, is really off center for him, where it should be. It should be more like running up your leg here.
Yeah, it's like he's sort of the top half of him. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Did they put a little Willy in there, right here?
I think so. Yes. Well, every little helps.
Yeah. All right. Toby Morton says, when you're unemployed during a pandemic, you use that time to purchase some domain names, build some websites, and create some chaos. So should we check them out?
Yeah. Yes, we should. Devin Nunes.
Contribute to the website and Devin Cow. So first it's I don't know who Phil Arballo is. And then Nunes unreleased survey, Nunes campaign website confirms meeting. There's a whole bunch of basically news story about him. Devin Nunes is a horrible judge of character. All right, so that's and I was kind of expecting a cookie cutter thing, which every single one would kind of be the same. But I went down to Gates and it's a completely different look. Look at that.
Oh.
Yes. Time's up, Matt, and you get some videos going down.
Than the other ones.
Let's see. Yeah. All videos. Okay. Yeah. Lindsey Graham Let's see. Hypocrite and lapdog.
Yeah. I mean, you can't argue. Oh,
In
look
the
at this
U.S.
kid,
Senate, South Carolina, Lindsey Graham has earned a reputation as a hypocritical and gutless politician. He used to be a great friend to our men and women serving in uniform, including John McCain. However, because of secrets that POTUS has on Leningrad Lindsey, he crapped all over John McCain's memory by now serving...
It hasn't even been called Leningrad for years.
Yeah, I know, but it's alliterative, so people are just like, yeah, we'll go with it. He crapped all over McCain's memory by now serving not only POTUS, but the wants and needs of Putin and Russia. In a nutshell, Lindsey Graham is spineless and cannot be trusted.
Could have gone with Gorky Graham.
Oh, yeah, but it's kind of... I don't know if a lot of people know who Gorky is.
Or Luzhniki Lindsay. Those are two places in Russia.
You recognize it's Igor or Boris. It's one of the two guys on the Kevin McCarthy one.
Yeah.
About Kevin. 1. Second highest receipt of pharma donations. 2. Opposes lower drug cost legislation.
See, that's just causation correlation fallacy there. You can't say for sure that's why that's the case.
3. Admitted on television that President Trump ordered the assassination of the Iranian general to distract from the impeachment trial. 3. Accepted $111,000 from indicted Giuliani associate Lev. That was it, Lev Parnas. 4. Pathological liar. 5. Loves the film Cats.
That's just slander.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too far. Okay. That was fun. All right. We've got last one. This is the GOP Senate.
Oh.
GOP TV coming June 2020.
Oh, don't do the fucking hammer and sickle thing. That's such boomer nonsense. Sorry, go on. I know what they're trying to do, but it's just... Anyway. Corey Gardner, Graham Lindsay, Martha McSally, Susan Collins, and many more.
What's the media?
That's just weird.
Oh, it's the videos. Okay.
That was
it's too bad that one was last. It was the least impressive.
Yeah. Indeed.
Oh, cat and dog being friends. You want to see this?
Yes, I do.
All right. No idea what the volume is like or even what the volume contains, but we're going to go for it.
Oh. And secretly they plotted a terrible assassination.
They were planning their escape from the house, checking the streets. More of Trump's funny stance. Probably running out of stuff here. Oh, yep, and then we're back down to Rushfi.
Yeah, we did this. Yeah, we did that one.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all we got. Oh, at some point, it might be worth having a discussion about the H3H3.
Yeah, you said you wanted to do that, but I was relying on you to tell me more of the details.
Yeah. Not now, because we've been going for like ever, and I'm getting tired. But we can maybe on the next episode we can talk about the Keemstar. That was it. I mean, it's a little bit old now, but I only found out about it, so it's new to me. So that's enough of the criteria. Yeah. Also, it's kind of developed out into a bunch of other discussions from the original video critique. Yeah. And so I think one thing I thought might be interesting is just looking at how political it is to put content out on YouTube. And as a content creator, if you're going to put out, well, at least for me, if I'm going to put out a critique video of someone else, I have to think very carefully about what goes in there and what doesn't, and what people are going to take and try to twist, or might be a distraction from my larger message. And I think one of the mistakes that H3H3 made is within the scope of a very valid critique, they put in things that open them up to a different discussion happening other than the one that they wanted to have, which is so there's all kinds of interesting Machiavellian stuff going on with Keemstar H3H3, so we can talk about that. I'll brief you on all the dramas. How about that?
Please do. Please do.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you for the penis in the chat. You weren't listening to me at all, huh?
Who did that? What? What are you talking about?
You're really quick.
I deny everything.
Yeah,
I was typing that to make sure that my eyesight was still working.
Well, that's all right. I finally got some uninterrupted talk time, so it was nice. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Shut up.
Yeah. So I guess how do you want to? It's your show. I'm not hosting, so I'm throwing it back to you, Kev.
Yeah, we could do a. There you go, H3 if you want to. I mean, they're both garbage, but Keemstar's way worse. Yeah, so yeah, we can do that if you want to.
Not now.
No, not now. No,
okay, yeah, I have to prep for that. I have to see the updates on the drama and then review the basic facts before.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we wouldn't want to get anything wrong.
We try not to, but we still do anyway.
Terrible. I don't think we do. I think we're perfect. Hummels.
Oh yeah, and we'll investigate this alleged shoe apology as well. We'll do an independent verification.
Well, I won't be holding my breath because they keep saying this. I've been told many times. So she's apologised for that.
Yep.
You got a link to that? Oh, no.
Yeah, and also here's a whole video. You're like,
yeah, this is a 3-hour stream. Have you got a bookmark?
Well, so if you say someone's apologized, give me the timestamp. She talks about it at this particular time. Don't just dump a 10 or 12 or 15-minute video on me. I think I'm just gonna listen to Shu for 15 minutes.
But she has such valuable insights about the memers and the shit posters.
Yes.
And the cyberbullies, who she definitely doesn't control, but she could have controlled if the DNC had done what she wanted, but she can't control them.
Yeah, because having the memers and shit posters worked out for her so well the last 2 times.
Yeah, I was about to say, if the memers and the shit posters were that effective, how come Bernie didn't get anywhere fucking close?
Mm-hmm.
You think, he would have absolutely stormed it because he had all of the Zoomers on his side.
Yeah, when football teams lose a game or any sporting team, I'm sure they go back and they break it down. Where did they go wrong? Where did they mess up? What could they have done differently? And what they do is they learn from it. Their tactics improve. And if you just keep doing the same thing over and over and get mad that the results don't change, it's not really the fault of everyone else.
No, I reckon we can take the iceberg on. We ran it straight forward. We'll do it this time.
Just keep trying.
Yeah. If at first you don't succeed, do the same thing repeatedly and you'll be fine at the end, probably.
Yeah, and then just complain about the SJWs.
Yeah. I think that was Sun Tzu in The Art of War.
In my D&D game, my character has sort of picked up a bit of a martial streak, and so I kind of did the equivalent of going to the university library and getting a sort of a Sun Tzu Art of War type book, and she's using more battle tactics now in our game.
I feel like I shouldn't have your affliction
fantasy
imposed upon me. Frankly, if you want to engage in the sick degeneracy that is D&D, that's your business. I wish
good wholesome fun.
I wish you all the best in overcoming your terrible addiction. But I don't know that's a you problem, isn't it?
So and by the way, tomorrow night I'm hosting. We're doing our big high level. Well, actually, it's Wednesday night for people in the States. It's Thursday, really early in the morning here in Europe. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Finishing up my character now.
The fuck are you talking about? What?
It's okay. You don't have to understand any of the words I just said.
Yeah, but you said high level something or other.
Yeah, so we're doing a one-off, but we're not starting at level 1 or 3. We're starting off at level 16. So we have tons of cool shit.
What does any of that? What are you talking about?
I'm badass. My character is badass. That's all you need to know. Unless you want me to describe her, because she's really awesome.
Actually, yes. Hanukkah in the chat was right. I got that wrong. If it had hit it head on, then the actual safety mechanisms of shutting down the front portion of the ship probably would have allowed it certainly to limp on for a lot longer and allowed rescue ships to get there. So yeah,
it was dragging it down the sides, wasn't it?
Indeed. So yeah, but you get the joke. The joke was do the same thing again and you expect a different result. I could have gone with the oft quoted Einstein thing about it's the definition of insanity, but he probably didn't say it. So
Kristi in the chat is yelling for the Kevlar. She's like, I love playing with Kevin.
the feeling wasn't. It's not because of you, Kristi. It's the fact that D&D is like taking a cheese grater to my anus. It's just awful.
If it would have been like a football game, I think he would have enjoyed it more. But he's just not swords and sorcery.
If we were playing Madden or NBA 2K, I would be there every week. It would be amazing.
Not enough.
But instead,
sports.
it's yeah. I mean, that's just true in general of everything, including sport. There isn't enough sports. So, but yeah, I just I don't know why it's entertaining for anyone. I'm sorry, I don't know why people find that fun.
Okay, well, I won't give too much away because I know you want to wrap up the show. But Darius, sorry, excuse me, in the chat it said, tell us a little bit. If you want to know the whole details, you have to come to my channel tomorrow. Well, in like 24 hours or so. Just check when I put it up. I'll put it up after this. But I have a 3rd level rogue assassin. It's a multi-class. So she's a 3rd level rogue assassin, 2nd level paladin, 3rd level fighter, and 8th level bard. So that's my multi-class mix-up, which I cannot wait to play.
Again, I don't know if I have to reiterate this. I don't know that me or the chat should have this inflicted upon us.
Chat asked for it.
This feels like an imposition at this point. Really.
All right. Well, then, yeah, I'll kick it back to you. How do you want to wrap it up?
To Buddy in the Box, yeah. When Kristi said football, I presumed she meant like NFL.
Yeah,
when I say football, I know what it means, but yeah, we can play FIFA. If you want to play FIFA, that would be amazing, definitely. But yeah. What are we doing? What?
It's your show.
It is my show.
Yeah.
Correct. So I should probably just end it then, shouldn't I?
I was hinting, as I kept saying, well, we're on your channel, we're streaming, so I'm throwing it back to you.
Yeah, but again, I don't hint, Kristi. Just say, Kev, shut the fuck up and end the show.
Well, it's a little abrupt. You know, I want a softer landing.
Yeah, but it's... Again, though, Kristi, I'm an idiot. You have to... Look, I need it spelling out for me. Imagine you're dealing with Trump, right?
No,
Tell
I'm not.
me what needs to happen, and
Okay.
then I can do the thing. Well, imagine you're dealing with Trump, but Trump who actively wants to do the right thing. So you literally have to tell them, do this thing, and then they'll do
Well, it's not like... Okay. So why don't you wrap it up and end the show, Kev?
Well, no, if you're going to be like that.
People are asking when the next History of Kev is on.
I don't know. I've totally lost the will to live, frankly. No, because we're off work. Although hopefully we're not back next week, but the week after it looks like now. My sleep schedule's so fucked up that I've just had no energy to do anything. But he'll be around at some point. Is the point?
There's the answer.
Yeah. Apologies. I'm not going to sleep. I should probably end the stream first, though. Okay. Thank you all for listening and watching all that shit. Goodbye from me, and say goodbye, Kristi.
Goodbye, Kristi.
She did the bit.
I did it.